Like millions of other Californians, I cast my ballot in the state primary election earlier this month. This election was special for me, however. It was the first one that I, as a new adult, am eligible to vote in. Filling out my mail-in ballot was not something I took lightly. I took the time to thoroughly sit down and research all the candidates and propositions on the ballot. I found it incredibly difficult to find unbiased information and sources online, as well as to weigh all the legitimate pros and cons of the propositions. The process of properly researching and understanding what I was voting for highlighted to me the nuances of politics. While time-consuming, doing the work before you cast your ballot is important to being an educated and responsible voter. Both observationally and statistically, voting is something that's taken for granted in the US. In the 2020 presidential election, 2/3 of Americans exercised their right to vote. In the 2022 midterms, there was a mere 49% turnout. These numbers are even smaller for young voters such as myself. Many Americans born and raised in this country like me have grown up used to the fact that elections are free, regular, and fair. In contrast, some countries like Russia hold elections that are merely farces. They lack the actual conditions for a democratic vote and instead function to perpetuate dictatorship. Other countries do not have elections at all. For the people living under these authoritarian regimes, the right to vote is a dream. Indeed, it is the reason why many people, including some in my family, have chosen to build new lives in America. This precious institution must be protected at all costs, and attacks on its integrity, such as the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the US Capitol, are evidence of its vulnerability. From a young age, we are taught that the right to vote is a freedom that our founding fathers fought for, but in reality, these rights were not granted to people who look like me. My ability to vote as an Asian American woman is also due to generations of activism and fighting for change. Prior to the 19th Amendment, a little over 100 years ago, my direct vote in this democracy would never have been heard. And just over half a century ago, before the passing of the McCarran-Walter Act, immigrants from Asia, like my own relatives, would not have been allowed to obtain citizenship or cast ballots. So when I cast my vote for the first time this month, it was evidence of how much our democracy has grown and a reminder of our need to continue fighting to preserve voting rights for all. Whether the candidates or propositions I voted for ended up winning or not, casting my ballot for the first time was a momentous and proud moment for me. I was making my voice heard and affecting future policies that might have implications for generations to come. Voting responsibly is doing my part as a citizen to uphold our democratic institutions and rights. Life often gets busy, and between work, school, and family, filling out a ballot may feel unworth the trouble. Yet it is critical to remember one vote can make a difference in an election and our democracy as a whole.